Have you ever wondered what elements, compounds, and mixtures are? These terms might seem complex, but they're actually fundamental building blocks of everything around us. Let's start with elements. An element is a substance made up of only one type of atom. Oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen are all examples of elements. They're the purest form of matter, as they cannot be broken down into simpler substances by ordinary chemical means. Next, we have compounds. A compound is a substance composed of two or more different elements chemically bonded together in fixed proportions. Take water, for instance. It's a compound composed of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Lastly, we have mixtures. A mixture is a combination of two or more substances that are physically combined and can be separated by physical means. Air, salad, and salt water are all examples of mixtures. Now let's dive deeper into each term to understand them better. So, what exactly is an element? Well, think of elements as the most basic form of matter. They're the building blocks of everything around us. An element is a substance that's made up of only one type of atom. Yes, just one. No more, no less. Let's take a look at some examples. Oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen. These are all elements. Each one is made of only one type of atom. Oxygen atoms for oxygen, carbon atoms for carbon, and hydrogen atoms for hydrogen. Simple, isn't it? Here's the fascinating part. These elements, in their most basic form, can't be broken down into simpler substances by ordinary chemical means. That's right, you can't break them down any further. They're already as simple as they can get. So remember, if it's made of only one type of atom, it's an element. Now, what happens when different elements come together? They form what we call compounds. A compound is an intriguing substance that forms when two or more different elements decide to team up. They're not just casually hanging out, though. These elements are chemically bonded together in fixed proportions. It's like a precise recipe that nature follows. Let's consider a common compound we all know and love: water. Water is a compound made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. But it's not a random blend. There are always two hydrogen atoms for every one oxygen atom. That's why we write it as H2O. Here's the fascinating part. Compounds are a bit like superheroes. When elements combine to form a compound, they gain new powers. Water, for instance, has completely different properties than hydrogen and oxygen. So, when different elements bond together in fixed proportions, they form a compound. It's a beautiful dance of chemistry, isn't it? Finally, let's talk about mixtures. Unlike elements and compounds, mixtures are a bit more flexible. A mixture is simply a combination of two or more substances that are physically combined. And here's the interesting part. These substances can be separated by physical means, not requiring any complex chemical reactions. Think of the air we breathe. It's a mixture of various gases like oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide, all coexisting without chemically bonding. Or consider a salad, a medley of different vegetables tossed together, each retaining its own unique taste and texture. And let's not forget about salt water, where salt is dissolved in water, but can be retrieved back by simply evaporating the water. The beauty of mixtures lies in their flexibility. They can vary in composition and properties because the substances within them retain their individual identities. So, a mixture is when you have two or more substances combined physically, not chemically. Now that we've explored elements, compounds, and mixtures, let's summarize our key points. We learned that elements are substances made up of just one type of atom, like oxygen, carbon, or hydrogen, and they can't be broken down further by ordinary chemical means. Compounds, on the other hand, are substances composed of two or more different elements chemically bonded together in fixed proportions. Water is a perfect example of a compound, made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Then we have mixtures, which are combinations of two or more substances physically combined, like our examples of air, a salad, or salt water. The key difference here is that the substances in a mixture retain their individual identities and aren't chemically bonded. So, in essence, elements and compounds are pure substances, while mixtures contain two or more substances that are not chemically bonded. So, there you have it. A quick tour of elements, compounds, and mixtures. Next time you look around, you'll see these concepts at work everywhere.